everyone, it's Darkseeker here again. Welcome back for another video. Now, we have quite the commanding board presence here. Two big taunts on the board. We have a sea giant on the board. Surely we can't lose this game. Okay, and that is Major Domo. That is the second time today that Major Domo has appeared on my board as a result of Devolve. But can he clear it? No, low roll, and that's game over. So, another win with Major Domo. Okay, so today I'm playing Slizzle's Even Shaman on the Wild Mode ladder. Now, you guys should do yourselves a favour, check Slizzle out on YouTube, check him out on Twitch. He's a phenomenal Wild Mode player, very creative, very chilled out, great player, worth checking out. He did a video recently where he was predicting what decks would be popular after the recent round of nerfs. Now, you know, cards like Call to Arms, Dark Pact, various Tier 1 cards in Tier 1 decks got hit, and Slizzle was trying to predict what decks would be popular in the meta as a result of those nerfs. And Even Shaman, from my experience, has become a lot more popular. And, you know, this deck from Slizzle took me to Legend. It took me to Legend, it helped me navigate rank 1, and then eventually hit Legend with it. So a big thank you to Slizzle for this deck. Now, I did play Even Shaman a couple of weeks ago on my channel, and the deck on the right is the deck that I played. So the Slizzle deck on the left is slightly different, and I think it's just worth quickly discussing the differences for those of you that saw my video from a couple of weeks back with Even Shaman. So the deck that I played a couple of weeks back ran Blood Mage Thalnos. I can see some value in that. You know, it's good for Maelstrom Portal, I guess. Increases the damage if you don't have a Spell Power Totem down. It's good interaction with Jade Lightning. The Even Shaman from 2 weeks back ran the 4-mana 7/7s, yes, Flame Wreath Faceless, whereas the Slizzle deck runs the Totemcarver. Now, what do I prefer? Having played the Slizzle deck, I'm going to say I prefer the Totemcarver just because with the 1-cost hero power, the chances are you're going to have a lot of totems down. And the deck itself has Totem Golem, Flametounge Totem. So, you know, you're going to have totems down, so it makes sense to run the Totemcarver, I guess. And if you have enough totems down, your Totemcarver can be bigger than a 4-mana 7/7, and you don't get the overload issue either. So, what else is different when it comes to these two decks? Well, Primal Fin Totem is in the Slizzle deck, and that's pretty cool because you've got Flametounge Totem. So you summon a few tokens via the Primal Fin Totem. There's great synergy with Direwolf Alpha and Flametounge Totem, so that makes sense to me, certainly. Other than that, the decks are pretty similar. I mean, Fire Elemental in the deck on the right. On reflection, not so sure that's such a great card in the deck. Anyway, what is significant then about Even Shaman? The 1-cost hero power. And if you go first on turn 1, you play your 1-cost hero power. On turn 2, hopefully you have a Flametounge Totem or a Direwolf Alpha, and you can buff your totem and maybe get a favourable trade with something. But that ability to put down a 1-cost totem going first is, in my opinion, game defining and game winning. Other cards that are important, or at least that I've found to be important: Totem Golem, 2-cost 3/4. Forget the overload, you're only overloading for 1. 2-cost 3/4. Absolutely critical, absolutely substantial. Just as a body, 4 health, really hard to kill. Probably going to need 2 trades at least. So it's all about early board presence. It's all about putting on early pressure, and Totem Golem is fantastic at doing that. Now, the Murkspark Eel. Now, that card, I am a huge fan of this card. Just the 2 damage burst, if you get it early, can kill a 2 health enemy minion. Again, it's all about getting that board presence. And of course, Direwolf Alpha going very well with your 1-cost totems. So, early board presence is key. It then allows you to steamroll and to start to push damage. Because at this point, you've now got a few totems on board. You have your Flametounge down, you may have a Direwolf down, you're getting those trades, you keep summoning totems. Thing from below is getting cheaper, and of course, with totems on board, the Totemcarver then gets played and gets buffed up massively. And at that point, even if they can start clearing elements of your board, they're probably nearly dead, and then cards like Crackle are pretty much going to finish them off. So yeah, I've been having an awful lot of fun with even Shaman, and particularly the Slizzle build with the Totemcarver. There's my recent wins and losses on my journey to Legend. Haven't played many games with the deck. It's a very, very, very small sample of games, of course, but I've been having a lot of fun, and it's been very effective. Now, the decks that I've beaten there, I mean, I've beaten Warlock, I've beaten other even Shamans. In the mirror match, it really just comes down to who can get the early board presence, I guess, who can make stuff stick early. Beating a mage, that was pretty cool. I was just basically able to outvalue them and outdamage them. You know, you use Flametounge Totem to buff up your 1-cost totems, and you just start trading into all their stuff, and in the end they start using their burn to kill off your board, and then you know you've won the game. A loss to a druid, just because of the ridiculous armor gain that they were able to get, and then the naturalizers on my Totemcarvers. That was really unfortunate. And of course a loss to a mage there, just because he burned my face down before I could do anything. But anyway, let's have a look now at my journey to Legend. So we're going to look at a series of games, some of them full games, some of them highlights. And we're going up against a druid. Now, druids are difficult. There's a lot of combo druids out now at the moment. When I say combo druids, they will spend the game clearing boards, gaining armor, draw their entire deck, and then play a series of cards and win the game. So, it's all about a combo. Now, you could have the Togwaggle combo, you could have the Malagos combo. There's different combos. And, you know, the trouble is, especially with Malagos, there is a sense of the inevitable that if you cannot kill them, you know, if they just keep clearing your boards, if they just keep armoring up, that eventually they will draw their entire deck, they will draw Malagos, they'll draw all their spells, and you're just dead. Now, what this deck can do is it can put out pressure. It can put out substantial pressure very, very early before they can react. So with 3 mana, what's he going to do here? He needs to get rid of that Primal Fin Totem. Because if he doesn't, my Flametounge Totem is just going to keep buffing the 1/1s that come out of it. And I'll use them to trade, I'll use them to go face. He's really thinking this through. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's rank 1 on the verge of getting Legend and... Okay, so it's a Jade Druid. That's interesting. I mean, it could still be some kind of a combo Druid that just plays Jade Blossom for ramp. I mean, that is a possibility. But now we're starting to build a board. And he has to get rid of the Flametounge Totem. That does not get rid of a Flametounge Totem. So, we need to think about the trades here. The trades are a little bit awkward. We could use the eel. That does 2 damage. We'd still have to make 3 trades. So the 2 damage from the eel, and then the 2 minions on board. The Totem and the Murloc. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to choose to develop an 8/8. Which is now a 10/8. And I'm saying to him, can you deal with that? Can you deal with that? So there were 3 things on my board that he really needed to get rid of. The Primal Fin, Totemcarver, and the Flametounge. He could only get rid of one of those things.
Totally.
But we cannot leave that on board. It has to die. So I'm happy to make the trade. And I guess at this juncture, we could just play more stuff. I was hoping for Healing Totem. Never lucky. Never ever lucky. And now I'm just looking for stuff to do, stuff to play. So happy to commit the Direwolf. May have felt a bit unnecessary, because I wasn't using the Direwolf to buff my minions for trades. So it may have felt unnecessary. Maybe I should only reveal the Direwolf when I'm ready to trade with stuff that he plays. But I'm sort of smelling lethal soon. There's no spreading plague, which is really interesting. Yeah. That pressure was enough to get him to concede. That feels good. Okay, heading into our next game here. Now, we're going up against a Warlock. And there's Devolve, which is actually quite important.
We have turned our curse into our strength.
So, assuming he is some kind of Q-block or Demon Lock, Devolve will take care of Void Callers, it'll take care of Possessed Lackeys. Really good card, Devolve. So, a bit of a slow start for me though. Just developing 2 totems. And now I need to make a decision. Do I commit Flametounge Totem? Or Direwolf Alpha, perhaps? Since I have another Flametounge in hand, I'm happy to commit. Again, some people say that's a misplay, that I should only commit when I'm ready to trade my totems into something. But I felt pushing the damage there was perhaps important. Now it brings out the Hellfire, fair enough, fair enough. But that was his entire turn. He didn't develop anything, and I go back to developing stuff. Yeah, it's all about developing stuff on the board. Okay, and that's pretty good. The idea there was to avoid getting the 1/1 totem, because you don't want to play into Defile. So there is no 1 health minion on the board here, so Defile becomes difficult for him. Well, Devolve coming in handy. And that's game over. Just like that. Just like that against the Warlock. Right, in this next little highlight, we have quite the commanding board presence. 2 Totemcarvers on the board, and of course he's going to do everything he can to get rid of them. Oh, he actually leaves 1 on the board. Interesting. Well, that's 7 damage. 7 plus 7 is 14. I say 7, that's if we high roll. That's 14 plus another 4. It's not enough for lethal. It's not enough for lethal. We're actually 1 off if we roll high on the Crackle, and therefore we just play a giant and chill. We're safe in the knowledge that we have all of this burst from hand next turn, perhaps. So he's at 17. I think, on that basis, it's time to pull the trigger on Crackle and to see what happens. If we roll low, as in 4, we'd have been really sad. But no, we actually high rolled for once in our life. Wow. So yeah, beating this druid, who is strangely called Warlock. That's interesting. It feels good. Okay, so this is the final game of the video, and it is the final boss as we look to get Legend. Now in the past, I've always ended up stumbling at the final boss due to RNG, misplays, poor luck, what have you. But with this Slizzle Shaman deck, it's feeling a bit more confident. It's just that feeling of being able to hero power on turn 1. It just feels good. It doesn't feel overpowered, but it feels like you're doing something. You're actively doing something on turn 1, which often you'd otherwise pass on. So it feels good. Now, I'm actually going to play the eel here. I think I could play the Totem Golem, but then I'd have to trade my 1/1. By playing the eel, I'm now maintaining two bodies, 2 minions on board, giving my Flametounge totem flexibility. Okay, so Flametounge totem here allows us to kill his Totem Golem with 1 trade. That's pretty important. Again, I'm keeping bodies on the board. This positioning, I guess it's not too bad. If I'm going to trade away both minions, both totems rather, that's fine. I can trade one away, then the other one gets buffed, it's fine. I was just trying to contemplate, was there any better way of doing that by having Flametounge in the middle? Is it even important? I need to start overthinking things. There we go. Flametounge totem in the middle. Feels better. So he has to kill this Flametounge totem. It cannot be allowed to live. It cannot be able to survive. And there you go, Jade Lightning. The thing is though, what is he developing? He develops a 1/1. Essentially developing nothing, right? But look at my hand. Look at the things that I can develop this turn. So I can hero power. I can play Totem Golem. And I can play Thing from Below. Need to think about the trade though. I'm actually going to use Totem Golem for the trade rather than Direwolf Alpha, I think, because I want to play around Maelstrom Portal. So I want to keep the Direwolf healthy at 2 health. Now obviously if he rolls Spell Power Totem, then yeah, my 2 health Direwolf dies to Maelstrom Portal, but it's fine, right? We still have 3 other substantial threats on the board. So again, everything he's doing here in this mirror matchup is a reaction to what I'm doing. We have the initiative, we continue to press the advantage. Huh. Well, that's interesting. I can't say that's bought him any substantial advantage. Spectral Knight is interesting to see. It's a card I haven't seen played for years. But at least, you know, it's got 6 health. That's pretty substantial, and it can't be targeted by Jade Lightning, so that's pretty good. And Feral Gibberer, I love that card. I really love that card. It's won me arena games before. So who knows, maybe it'll help us win this game. Now, I want the Hive Queen to die. It's making my hand more expensive, so it's not ideal. So we trade with the Hive Queen. And given that we're pushing damage here, I could play another Feral Gibberer, but no. If he has AoE, then we're sad. So we'll save that Gibberer for later. We also want to keep Zombie Chow healthy if possible, because we don't want that to die, because it heals him up. Yes, back in the day when Zombie Chow was considered the best one-drop in the entire game. Guess times have changed. Wow. So, Jade Lightning on Zombie Chow just for the health? And because it was the only thing he could... Well, he couldn't target the Spectral Knight. So that was the highest health minion he could target. How interesting. So, we have Maelstrom Portal that can do some work perhaps here. So, could trade with the Gibberer. Maelstrom, kill the Hive Queen. Or we could just... Okay. Okay. Fair enough. That's the concede. And... that's legend rank. Wow. So I've not been legend for, what, a couple of years? Is it 2 years? Is it 3? But this feels really, really good. I'm happy with 427. I'm happy with that. I think now I've got a bit more motivation since they changed the way that the ladder system works. I think I've got a little bit more motivation each season now to try and hit legend. So yeah, the Slizzle Even Shaman, which is the deck that took me on my journey to legend. Yes, thank you very much to Slizzle. You know, I really appreciate the deck. It's helped massively. You know, I've tried other things. I've tried Rhinolock. I've tried Warlock still. And those decks, I kept winning, losing, winning, losing. The Slizzle deck, this Even Shaman, just allowed me to consistently more or less win and hit legend. So the cards that really mattered in this deck: Flametounge Totem, Direwolf Alpha, buffing up an early one-cost hero power totem that comes down, really, really significant in terms of starting off your early pressure and your early ability to make trades with enemy minions. Murkspark Eel, another significant card. Primal Fin Totem with its synergy with Flametounge and Direwolf Alpha, absolutely critical for me. And the Totemcarvers have won me games. Now, if they have Hex, if they have a Devolve, if they have Siphon Soul, if they have some kind of disgusting AoE, you're sad. But if they don't, the chances are you win the game. And people may want to compare the 4-mana Totemcarver to the 4-mana Flame Wreath Faceless. Yes, 4-mana 7/7. I'd argue that the Totemcarver is potentially a stronger card because of the fact that you're probably going to have other totems on the board, and therefore have the potential to make the Totemcarver larger than a 7/7. And I think that's pretty important. So, one copy of Spellbreaker in this deck is interesting, but I guess with there being fewer cube locks now, I've seen more Reno locks and I've seen fewer cube locks. So maybe with fewer cube locks and with Possessed Lackey not being as popular, maybe there's less need for silence effects. So maybe one Spellbreaker rather than 2 is fine. So yeah, strong deck. Fun deck. I recommend you guys try it. So thank you very much for joining me, everyone, and I'll see you guys all again very soon, probably next season, for more Wild Mode fun.